Hold on just 1 second. Alright, hold up. Just to be clear, obviously, this is not a real TED Talk. I've just been recently thinking about the creative process and how ideas are formed, and for me, this was just a creative way to present this idea. But no, it's not legit, it's just fun. Cue the intro.
Yep, that's me.
Today I want to talk about creativity and my experience with it. Now, this is going to sound super pretentious, and I'm sorry, but I think creativity is a paradox, meaning it's sacred and not sacred at the same time. It's terrible and wonderful. It's a chore of a delight. Does that make sense? Creativity, I think, is for everyone and in different forms. I think we all love it and hate it. And that's the core concept for today. Creativity and creative living. Finding the ideas within, unburying them, and exploring. Now, this is a pretty big topic, I would say. So, where should we start? The scientific method says that we should guess, and that's exactly what I'm about to do. My hypothesis for today is I think all humans are creative, whether they know it or not. Right now, I kind of want to redefine your definition of creativity. Most would say it's thinking outside of the box to form new ideas. A lot of people think that creativity is an amplified idea or process, but I think it's an amplified life. Creativity to me is searching for the more in life, chasing interests and passions and your own enthusiasm. My mom is 60 years old and taking piano lessons for the first time, and I think that's creative because I think creativity comes from searching, which moves me into my second point. I believe everybody should have a hobby, whether it be boxing, shell collecting, or even thrifting, because yes, thrifting does take creativity. Humans have a desire to create. It's an impulse at this point. Whether it's to escape the mundane or our own head, I think we all possess the tools it takes to make something. And for a while, I think we have defined creativity as serious, or only for the gifted, which is the furthest from the truth. Looking at history, you can trace art way farther back than agriculture, society, and even the written word. And they weren't trained cave wall painters. They didn't make it because they had to. They just had the desire to. There's a sense when we think about art that it's supposed to have this grandeur or deeper meaning, when I guarantee you there was no cave wall accreditations. By the time Shakespeare wrote his plays, he ran through pretty much every storyline. And let me remind you that those storylines were already cliches before he got his hands on them. Creativity, I think, is supposed to evoke this sort of curiosity within you. My one tip, and this is the only thing that I can really speak on, is find something that sparks curiosity. Now, this is my inner Ravenclaw coming out, but do something that makes you want to do research. Explore the depths of details of something that sparks curiosity, and explore. Because I think curiosity can lead to passion. And working up to passion is far less intimidating. This is what I did with Booktube. It started out as a hobby, which led into a pastime, which bled into a passion. When I started Booktube, I wanted to capture these ideas before they found a new home. Because here's the thing about ideas. They don't like to stick around. When you get one, you have to tackle them down and capture whatever inspiration comes your way. Like you're a cowboy at the Houston rodeo trying to tackle a bull. But the message I want to get across today is create what you want to create, but don't take it too seriously. It's supposed to be fun. So make your painting, but don't think you'll be the next Picasso. Upload your video because you want to talk about something. Like I'm doing this right now because I genuinely find the creative process fascinating. Do I think I'm going to change the world? No. I'm doing this because I wanted to have an excuse to write about creativity, but also maybe show off my public speaking skills. So right now you're kind of getting the behind the scenes of a casual creative, which wasn't easy to identify with at first, because let me tell you, I'm a type 1 perfectionist, which is one of those quote-unquote good/bad qualities. It's the first answer in a job interview when someone asks you, name a bad quality you have, thinking it's a good thing disguising itself as a virtue when it never was. It's this amplified devil's advocate within, striving for something that was never there. We've come to think of perfectionism as one of those good/bad qualities, but like Hamilton tickets, it's unattainable. It's a myth that busters can't solve. I used to wear this perfectionism as if it was like a merit badge of honor before I realized I was setting up my own mental trap. And I realized that this perfectionism was just a dressed up version of fear, an entity that was holding me back from creating. No matter how much time I put into a project, there was always a voice saying it wasn't good enough. And here's the thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with applying for something you're not qualified for, because I think you'll grow into expectations, or you'll grow forward. See, I don't know what the fun is in doing something you're 100% qualified for. In fact, I think it's quite stagnant. Now, after this perfectionism awakening, I now like to think of myself as a scheduled passive creative, which might sound kind of like the same thing, but I swear it's different, even if it's for my own sake of not identifying as a perfectionist. It helps. I like to think of creativity as giving your mind a job to do. And Booktube has become that exact thing. Thinking of concepts in videos it's kind of always working. And this is new to me, but I think creativity has to find you working in order to come. Like the gears should be ticking, otherwise they get rusty. Which is really exciting, but also terrifying. Because with YouTube, you're kind of told to hustle, 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 with this constant cycle of read, film, edit, repeat, which is the wrong message to send to a creative, because being constantly forced to create can lead to, you guessed it, burnout. In fact, did you know that 70% of millennials are burned out? And I think 30% of them are booktubers. I'm just kidding. This kind of pressure to always be working with purpose, to build a following, to always be crushing it, I think can stunt creativity. I think it's because we're forcing our art to have purpose. Worrying about the next step or the next video. Now, of course, everyone deserves to have purpose, but I think finding it takes time, and I think we've forgotten that, or at least I have. To me, patience is a far better virtue to have. For me, I had to reframe my mind to focus on the now, and instead of thinking 20 steps or 30 steps ahead. It's not about the achievements or how fast you get there. Shout out to Miley Cyrus. It truly is about the climb. Embrace that inspiration. It's always trying to work with you. It's not holy or sacred. It's the time you spent working on it is the important part. The project, not so much, because I think you are the one being transformed through imagination. So make your art because you want to, not because you think it'll help others. I think originality is dead, but authenticity is key. Now, if you'll let me quote the Gospel of Thomas, it says, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. What you do not bring forth will destroy you," which always speaks to that creative mind in me, kind of coming into a full circle. So creativity is kind of one of those great enigmas. We don't know where it comes from or why it comes, but I think that's a good thing. I don't need to know. I don't need to have it translated. I don't need to know why it visited you and not me today, because I'm happy with the chase. I'm happy when inspiration is here and when it's not here, because both have their lessons. All I know is I want to make stuff, and I know that doesn't sound groundbreaking, but it was a lot for me to come to that conclusion. So yeah, to kind of bring it all together, I think creativity is a paradox. It's awful and wonderful at the same time, but we just have to figure out how to love it.